Hey guys, it's me, and today we are going to be looking at the end credits actually. The last video I did looked at it was obviously a reaction video, but I watched the end credits. And I know some of you are like, no, there's like lots of spoilers. I don't know what's going on. So if there are any spoilers, I've missed them. And I actually just wanted to focus on like the style, which is just, I don't know, it was just super fascinating. And to give you a little bit of background about me, so I am not an art major, or I did not study art in college, but I did grow up in a very, very artistic family. My parents collect art, and I don't mean like the starving artist stuff that like I would make. Like it's actually stuff that we would loan out to art museums and stuff. And so my entire life I've just been surrounded by art, and I've gone to art museums like my entire life. Just, oh my gosh, I remember as a small child walking around the Indianapolis Museum of Art, just like dying to go home, those types of things. But I noticed that while I was watching the end credits, like there were some things that were becoming familiar to me where I was like, wait a second, like that looks a lot like this, or anyway, and it just really got me interested in maybe like the inspiration. Was there any symbolism behind that? And now this stuff could be completely and totally wrong, and I am totally willing to accept that. So if one of you was like, actually, that's ancient Phoenician, not Greek, or early Greek, like please correct me. This is just the musings of someone who really didn't have a lot to do today, and I don't know, I got really interested in it and was like, oh my gosh. So anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show the part of the end credits, and then I'm going to show like just a frame of what I want to look at. And then I'll show like other frames and stuff that like stills of artwork that's pretty dang close to the stuff that they actually put in the end credits, which I think is kind of interesting. And also, I want to delve into a little bit of symbolism that they might have. For instance, why did they choose like that particular symbol? And some of them, like some symbols that are clearly symbols that I just have no idea what they are, because I don't, I just, they're probably spoilers that I just don't understand what they are. So I'm sure as I watch, I'm going to go, oh, okay, I understand the end credits now. But for right now, there's a lot of, gosh, I think I've got a bug bite or something. It's the summer here, clearly. I mean, it's the North America. And I was outside and I got a bug bite. Anyway, so yeah, like I don't worry. As far as I'm concerned, nothing has been spoiled for me. But I'm sure there will be those aha moments later. All right, so I'm going to move this over because I had problems with the last video where like I'd lean over like this and my face would get blocked. And I mean, not that you need to look at my face. But anyway, let's start. Okay, so here is the first clip. Okay, so this first little bit, clearly it's a minotaur, and talking or accepting some type of offering from a smaller individual. And minotaurs are like massive, so I'm not quite sure if that's a child or an adult. But anyway, so I was like, okay, there's a reason why they picked the minotaur. And for those of you who don't know what a minotaur is beyond just playing God of War, so the minotaur, it's an Athenian part of like Athenian mythology, essentially, where there was the king of Minos who asked Poseidon for a like this like perfect bull, because apparently that's a sign of goodwill. I don't know. Anyway, and so anyway, Poseidon's like, sure. And the whole point was that the king of Minos was then going to sacrifice that bull in honor of Poseidon. And anyway, so the king of Minos gets this bull, and it's apparently perfect, and was like, nah, I'm not going to kill this bull. I'm going to keep it, but here, I'll sacrifice one of these mediocre bulls to Poseidon. So anyway, Poseidon got pissed, and he decided then to curse the king of Minos' wife. And her name, I had to look it up. I totally forgot what it was, but it's Pacify, spelled Pasiphae, and the AE has an I, it creates an I sound. I remember that from Latin class. Anyway, so, and I remember my friend Doug in high school telling me this myth, and I was just like, oh. Anyway, it's one that they don't usually talk about in high school, and you'll understand why. So Pacify was cursed by Poseidon to lust after this perfect bull. Yeah, and so she had like a I don't know, craftsman would be the right term, construction, anyway, like a metal worker, woodworker, or whatever, a servant of the king of Minos. She had this craftsman build for her a bull, like a hollow wooden bull covered in like cow skin. And then she climbed into the hollow bull and had that, she's inside this wooden bull and in this field, so that this perfect bull from, or I guess it wasn't a hollow bull, hollow cow. She's in a hollow cow, and the bull mates with her. So, yes. And she becomes pregnant with the bull's child and gives birth to the Minotaur. So it's half man, half bull. And I actually looked at pictures of the Minotaur just to make sure I wasn't completely off base. I was right. But sometimes it's like the body of a bull and the head of a man, kind of like a centaur. And then other times it's reversed. And that's what we see here, is where it's like the body of a man and then like the head of the bull. And anyway, but what I find really interesting, I looked up a little bit more about the Minotaur, like why was the Minotaur picked? Well, what did the Minotaur eat? Human flesh. So he was offered 7 virgins and 7 young men, I think every year, every 7, who knows how many years. But anyway, he was offered these people, and so that's how you eat. Now, this is something else that I found interesting, is that he didn't have any natural known sustenance. Like, he didn't actually need to eat the people, but he did, which kind of sounds like something else that we know. Oh, what? The Titans. So I thought that was kind of interesting, and that can't be a coincidence. So anyway, he eventually was put in the labyrinth, which was this ornate, I mean, it's a maze, it's a giant maze, but it's these high stone walls that kept him in. And I saw a picture of like what in ancient Greece, kind of a picture of the labyrinth, and then also they had some other depictions of the labyrinth from like the Middle Ages and stuff, or probably not Middle Ages, probably more Renaissance. Yeah, this would have been Renaissance. Anyway, and I was like, oh, that actually kind of reminds me of something else. Wait, the walls. So anyway, that was, I don't know, I thought that was kind of interesting. So, I mean, that's a thing. Also, if you look at this, this picture as well, the still, you'll see like the archways on the sides. And that, I was like, oh my gosh, that looks so much like stuff that I used to look at when I was a kid, and I was obsessed with these like church, like cathedral, like frescoes and paintings and stuff. And when we go to art museums, And anyway, so I started looking some stuff up, and like legitimately, they like ripped like you can see like the archways and like the edging like straight from like medieval and like early Christian art, which I thought was kind of interesting. So, I mean, take that as you will. All right, so the next clip. Okay, so this is a nude sea woman, and this one took me a little bit of time. I still don't think I'm right. I'm sure there's another thing that is this is about, but anyway, it's like a giant nude woman that's clearly like there look to be like maybe 4 dudes marching towards her, and I was like, okay, so they're maybe marching towards her to kill her. But what's interesting to me is that the guy in the front has a shield as opposed to like a pike that you'd imagine like he'd be stabbing her with it. So I was like, there's maybe something else going on here. And I was like, okay, when have there been giant women like in history, or not history, but like in mythology or whatever? And I came across one that I thought was kind of interesting. And it actually is from the Odyssey. Odysseus, and I vaguely remember, wow, I'm intelligent, I can speak. So I vaguely remembered this from when I had to read the Odyssey, but you had this like troop of people from his crew that got eaten by the giants. So I was like, oh, okay, so maybe this is what's going on, to where you actually have, maybe these are things that eat people. Kind of like in the intro credits where you have like the weird animals, the alpha animals that are glowing and running around. Anyway, maybe this is just like clips from different types of things that eat people. So.